Malaysia today announced new leads in the search for the missing Malaysia Airlines plane. It says there are 122 objects possibly linked to the flight MH370 in one area of the southern Indian Ocean. The new images are based on French satellite data.
This debris was then calculated, and the size of the debris and the latitude and the longitude of it has also been identified. It is not very far from the objects cited by the Chinese government, which is over here, and the Australian government, which is over there. If we can use all the satellite technology that's available, the radar that is available, the assets that we can deploy to this area, which now seems to corroborate some form of objects and debris, and if it is confirmed to be MH370, at least then we can move on to the next phase of deep sea surveillance, search and rescue.
Malaysia has been coming under intense fire over its handling of this crisis. Here's how the Transport Minister responded to the criticism.
Anybody has gone through this, what we have gone through in the 17 days, have indicated to me that we have done quite an admirable job. Not many countries in the world could get 26 countries to work together. What we see a joint effort from all sectors of the community. Boundaries do not become a concern in an area in Southeast Asia where we were fighting over rocks in the middle of the sea, now working together. I think that is a great achievement. So, no, I do not see it as a bruising. I think history will judge us well.
This morning, a dozen aircraft from Australia, the United States, China and Japan scoured the seas some 2,500 kilometers off Perth, with South Korean planes also joining in for the first time. Satellite analysis suggests that this is where the Boeing 777 ended its journey. Whilst numerous floating objects have been spotted in the search zone, none has been positively identified as coming from the missing jet. US equipment designed to detect black box signals arrived in Australia today as search teams resumed their hunt for any trace of the Malaysia Airlines plane. Bad weather suspended the search yesterday, and weather authorities warn that conditions could worsen.
We are expecting strong winds, we are expecting precipitation from a cold front, and we are expecting reductions in visibility through the rain, and also we're expecting to see the seas pick up as well. So it does look as if conditions are going to deteriorate as we move into the latter part of today and into tomorrow.
These oceanographers from the US are preparing an unmanned submarine for a voyage into the depths of the Indian Ocean. Crafts like these were used to search for Air France Flight 447 after it went down in the South Atlantic Ocean in 2009, and will prove invaluable in finding key components like the black box.
You want to leave no spot uncovered, and nothing beats an AUV like this for covering the seafloor with unprecedented accuracy. And I like to think of it like mowing the lawn. You want to cover every bit of the sea surface with sensors like sonar, images made with sound.
Australia has pledged to welcome the loved ones of those on board MH370 who wish to come there in the coming weeks and days. Our reporter is in Perth, and he's found out more about how the Australian Hotels Association is assisting families of passengers.
Spoke earlier with the CEO of Australian Hotel Association. He's Mr. Bradley Woods. Now, his association represents about 80% of the hotels in Western Australia, so that's how big, it is. And because of that, it's helping to coordinate the disseminating of information to parties who may be booking rooms in Perth. So, you can imagine that all parties are probably gathering information and booking rooms at the last minute. So the association would be the go-to point for these parties to get information as to which hotels would have rooms for these relatives, family and friends of those on board MH370. But of course, there is no official word as to when or whether they will be coming to Perth indeed. But if they do, Mr. Wood is expecting about 1,000 people to come to Perth.
Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong has written to his Malaysian counterpart, Najib Razak, following latest developments on Malaysia Airlines flight MH370. Whilst Mr. Lee recognized the difficult situation, he hoped the new information would provide more certainty and some closure to families and relatives of those on board. Mr. Lee was speaking to reporters after attending the Nuclear Security Summit in The Hague. He has also sent condolences to Malaysian Deputy Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin and Chinese President Xi Jinping, both of whom he met at the meeting. On Monday, Mr. Najib announced that the ill-fated aircraft ended its journey in the southern Indian Ocean. He cited new and unprecedented satellite data. Prime Minister Lee understood that some relatives were still not satisfied because of the lack of physical evidence. He hoped that this would be found soon.
You just have inferences from the information, from the satellite communications, from the calculations which have been done. And I hope that it will be possible to find that physical evidence and have that certainty and absolute confidence and closure within a reasonable time. But it's something very difficult to do because you're searching a very remote area, very extreme conditions, very wide area now, where the debris is potentially scattered, and to find it and to confirm it is not a simple matter at all. So we hope that it will be possible. I think the countries are all trying their best.